Some of the best trickers from around the world go head-to-head at Oslo Movement Festival. They must perform 3 passes each before being judged by a panel of 4 expert judges, along with the audience, whose collective vote will act as a 5th judge.
To narrow it down to like a few, at least in my mind, I think, I'm definitely seeing like a Fuju, Zen, Tiki, and Kaiga into the finals for sure.
I really want Fuju to win. His like huge triple cork eagles, like anything, shurikens, all of that. It's just got so much style.
I think Fuju's gonna win.
I feel sorry for Fuju. He's gotten so close to winning so many times, so I would love to see him perform very well and maybe even get a good placing. Maybe he'll surprise us and win.
I think Fuju could definitely win. I mean, we've seen him injured. He had like a stress fracture or something he wrote, but I've seen Fuju do a sick combo here and it looks like he's recovered and back at it again. So he's always a super strong one and I think he's super hungry as well.
I think Fuju, Kaiga, Tiki, the three strong trickers.
Fuju in a 1 battle setting is one of the strongest competitors. When he hasn't already shown his full hand, if he gets to do those crazy combos for the first time against somebody like Zen, he has a chance of winning it.
And Fuju is moving on to the next round.
I don't think Kaiga is gonna win because he's not as consistent as Zen or Fuju.
I think the top 5 it's Matus, Tiki, Fuju, Kaiga and Zen. And there's no other competitors who can compete.
I believe in Kaiga because he looked very strong when he warmed up. Second then I think is Zen probably.
I think Kaiga will win this time, yeah.
I think Kaiga was pissed off that he didn't win at Hooked, and his coach and Kaiga have been training like crazy. You could see all the Instagram clips of him. I think he finally started doing double flips and incorporating a little more than just high-level twisting. So I think he's got it this time.
I feel like I have been enjoying watching Kaiga's composition get, more interesting and more intricate as well because his power is already off the charts,
How confident are you feeling going into the battle?
我自信88%. It's 80%.
Who is your toughest opponent in the battle?
Zen. It's a Zen.
Kaiga is moving on.
Get out to the floor. Kaiga versus Fuju. This is going to be one of the best battles you have ever seen, especially if you've never seen this before.
Fuju and Kaiga matching up in the quarterfinals. Now, these two have a bit of a history. They've competed against each other multiple times. I believe last time was at Balkan Gathering, where Kaiga took the win, but it was a very close battle, a split decision, and one where there was a lot of debate about who should have taken the win there.
Yeah, going into this battle, I really think that Fuju is really hungry to try and prove himself as one of the top trickers in the world, and I don't think he's going to get there until he beats someone at the level of Kaige, which we know he can do. Kaige is not 100% consistent, so if Fuju wins this, then I think it's going to be a really big, interesting competition going forward.
Both of them looked very strong in the round of 16. They both dominated their opponents with relative ease. This is going to be a really big one. This could be a final. Fuju clearly planning something big.
Yeah, looking focused.
He knows he needs to pull out all the stops. He knows he needs something huge to have a chance against Kaige.
Kaige is not a pushover. Needs to do his best. Hook, touchdown raise, triple cork, raise, vanish 9.
That's a big hit for Fuju. That is a big fall. That's not a stumble. That one's going to really take the energy out of him as well.
Fuju, what happened? What was going through your mind at this point?
I really think the touchdown raise punch full in could have been the move, as that would have still been a really, really high level combo without quite as much risk as the snatch cannon.
Yeah, that is about as bad as of a landing as tricking can go. His body will be shaking after a fail like that.
Yeah, Kaiga's in a real strong position here. He knows he doesn't need to do his absolute hardest thing as he's competing against a fail. The triple full shuriken cutter.
Attempt.
9 hook.
Oh, nice.
Triple cork.
Man, Kaige really does execute his triple corks at the end of combos really, really well. He's got it super locked in.
Full rotation on that triple cork, and that's a strong lead.
Let's see what he can do to try and reclaim it in some kind of miracle scenario. Touchdown raise, triple cork, vanish master scoop, vanish 12, and then he fails his transition. What would he have to do? He would have to do like a quad cork at the end of that combo or something to even be back in the running.
It's a very tough position for Fuju to be in. Clearly demoralized by that huge hit. He knows that he really needed to land all 3 of his combos to have a chance in this battle.
The biggest problem in this whole pass was Fuju not finishing his combo, because if you do something like a hook kick, or what he did with a hook kick with his hand on the floor, which I don't think was intentional, that's just showing that you don't have the conviction to at least finish your combo, and at that point you're basically giving the other person the round.
Huge open cutter front swing. 212, vanish 9, another toss to rise, double full, trip, that's G9, hook, toss to rise, and let's see this result. Don't be distant attention, Full Kaige is moving on to the next round.
I think after that first pass, Fuju, he already knows the battle's done. And it's really hard to compete from that position.
Yeah, his head and his heart were just not in it anymore. He does have the skill level to be up there with the best in the world, but I just think he needs that one day. He just needs to make sure he's really feeling himself and that he's able to pull off his hardest tricks, and then I do think he could win a competition like this.
I think the final is gonna be probably Tiki versus Zen.
I'm a big Tiki fan, so I would really like to see Tiki win, but I think, yeah, Kaige just has a better chance to win.
I'm gonna go for Zen, Fuju, Tiki. That's my 3 in that order.
What about Kaige?
Oh crap, I forgot about Kaige.
Do you think Matus could win?
He could win, yeah, he could win. If he lands his stuff, he can do crazy double flips. He has the triple corks. He has insane front swings. He has definitely the potential to win. If the others also don't present their best.
Feeling great, actually. Yeah, I heard that Ethan is probably not battling, so that gives me a bigger chance of you know, getting higher. So yeah, I feel good. So I'm gonna prepare some combos and we'll see how it goes.
The last time they faced off was in the third place playoffs at Hooked 2024. And I believe it was pretty close, but Tiki edged it in that battle.
Tiki actually won by a split decision, so really close battle last time. They both dominated in the round of 16, so let's see how they do in the quarterfinals.
Tiki won Rochambeau, and Matus has to go first.
Here we go, Matus. Looks nervous, understandably. Here we go, aerial semi, front swing raise. Shuriken cut, front swing raise. Gain a semi, front swing Envigado. Oh, full snapu to a split. Very Matus style combo.
So I think on paper, like really solid combo and like really nice flow between all of his front swings. It's a shame that the split was kind of awkward because you want the split to be that big finisher that's like, I've got this really easy, so easy I can drop into a split. And when the split's kind of hard, it ruins that a little.
It still has to be aesthetic, even if it is a half split. And when you see this kind of landing, and especially the way when Matus came out of it and he started doing his little hands like this, it's like you've acknowledged that the split wasn't that good.
But everything leading up to it was quite strong. So Tiki's still going to need a good response to beat that combo. Massive cheat 9 double. Amazing backside 12. Ooh. Backside 12 truly world class.
Wow. Great execution, that's what we know Tiki Wu for. He does a lot of the stuff that everyone does, but he just does it better, I'm sorry. And I really wish after he'd done that dub to the, like, it's kind of recovery aerial, but like a punch recovery aerial, I kind of wish he'd not done the second combo after that, because that is going to take points away from him. I feel like combo structure and intention is important in tricking battles.
I don't think he really needed the second part. It doesn't add anywhere near as much as if he comboed fluidly out of the dub. It's still something. I think definitely Tiki's in the lead at this point, though. With the execution on that backside 12 and just the overall level of his combo, I think it just beats Matus's.
Yeah, exactly. Tiki's execution really puts him ahead at this point. I think the real big problem is that if he hadn't have done that extra tornado kick combo after, he would have more energy going into the next pass. Matus still looking a bit nervous. Knows he has to pull something big out. Cheat 9, hook. Aerial semi front swing raise, gain his semi front swing raise. Double cork to nothing. Okay. So this is what we call a classic bailout of a combo.
He definitely wanted to do more. I'm not sure if it was a dub or a triple cork he was trying to do at the end, but he definitely wanted more. And he's also repeating quite a bit as he already used aerial semi front swing. And his whole first combo is based on front swings and back swings. And so was the second one. So we're really repeating a little bit. Though the execution was nice, even if it didn't have that big bang at the end.
With some excellent execution on those tricks, some really world-class execution. I actually like the transition from jackknife into cartwheel because a lot of times when people do it, it can be quite stiff and there isn't really much flow. But the way that Tiki does it, it looks like he had just done a spin hook into a cartwheel and he carried momentum really well. And I really think the only thing that you can mark this combo down for is the slight error in landing after the full knife. He doesn't land it super clean.
He knows he's behind. He knows he needs to catch up.
Yeah, Matus really is going to have to pull something really amazing out of the bag here.
Clean full snapu hyper, nice transition out of it, through to the cheat 9 hook, TDR, gain a switch cork snapu. Now the cork snapu was under-rotated. There was a nice kick in it, but it was quite under-rotated.
I like comboing out of the full snapu hyper and then going into the cork snapu. I like those two themes put together. Tiki looking so relaxed at this point. Just knows he has to not balls it up. Yeah, that's what Tiki does in his sleep.
Tiki doing what he does best to close out the battles.
Tiki Wu is moving on to the next round.
Tiki received all 4 votes from the judges and the audience decision as well. So a really convincing win for Tiki, and he's looking strong going into the next stage of the competition.
I'm feeling okay. I have a little bit of the tiniest of a pulled hamstring, but other than that, I feel pretty okay. Body feels pretty nice. I'd like to do good tricks more than anything. I don't really care so much about being number 1. I just care about my individual performance being something that I'm proud of.
Can I have to the floor, Tiki Woo!
For our second semi-final, we have Tiki Woo versus Geiger.
Yeah, so these guys, the last time I can remember them facing off was in Balkan Gathering in the final, which was an extremely close battle. Tiki pulling out that amazing Shuriken clutch combo, but unfortunately falling down against Kaiga because, like I've said before, these amazing trickers, people like Tiki Woo, even they have to be on their best form to be able to beat someone as consistent and strong as Kaiga.
Well, Tiki did actually meet Kaiga at Hooked Gathering as well. I think in the semi-finals, and that was a really close battle. There was a split decision in there where I thought Tiki should have taken the round, but he ended up losing in a 3-2 decision. But even if Tiki had taken that round, he still would have lost the battle because it was a pretty convincing win in the other 2 rounds from Kaiga.
Yep, and remember before this, Tiki had his win against Matus where he didn't have to exert that much energy going into his combos, and Kaiga had to do a lot higher level tricks to be able to beat Fuju. So let's see if that's going to play a factor into this battle. I'm excited.
So sideswipe semi, raise, shuriken cutter, front swing Envigado, janitor to another big janitor, and finishing with a touchdown raise, switch dub. You know he wanted that switch trip, but still an incredibly nice combo. Like the start of that combo was fantastic. It's not just a sideswipe semi, it's a huge sideswipe semi with him floating in the air in such a beautiful position.
That was my thoughts exactly. When I'm talking about execution and the way you execute moves, that sideswipe semi at the start of the combo is exactly what I'm talking about. He's not just doing the move to get through it. He's not just trying to save momentum so that he can get the most front swing power. He's absolutely trying to make it look amazing. He's trying to rise up way higher than he needs to. He does not need to go that high, but it looks so much more impressive when he does.
Similar opener from Kaiga to the backside 16 attempt, finishing with a touchdown raise, Valdez quad full.
It's really good to see Kaiga coming out of his shell a little bit more. A lot of times when I've seen Kaiga battle in the past, he's always seemed very reserved and he's always seemed very detached from the battle almost, but it was good to see him putting on a show, and it does add to his performance. When you were talking about that backside 16 attempt, I completely agree as well. I would say that it was more of an off-axis triple fall, as he wasn't really spotting his kick, and his kick was at quite a low level. But the way that he transitioned to that amazing quad fall, still very excellent combo. Again, Kaiga doing what he does best.
Do you think this beats Tiki's combo?
Yeah, I say absolutely. I'd say that Tiki's combo was really nice and aesthetic and more interesting. But when you're entering a combo in a quad fall like that, it's kind of hard to compete and put them on the same level.
It's just the raw power of Kaiga's combo really just pushes him ahead. If Tiki had finished, instead of that switch dub, if it was a dub trip at the end or dub or something like that, then I think it would be much more of a conversation. But the fully rotated quad fall and just the overall level of Kaiga's combo is just hard to compete with.
Yeah, taking nothing away from Kaiga, that was excellent. Exactly what he needs to do, and Tiki really has to pull something out if he wants to take this win against Kaiga.
And Tiki with the pivot step into gain a switch, cork, double cork, and triple cork, but doesn't quite hit it. I think he just went a bit too high on that double cork.
After watching Tiki Woo battle for a long time over the years, usually when he fails once, it's usually the start of the falling of the house of cards, and his head usually is not quite in the game.
I don't think swings and power moves are necessarily Tiki's best option, as in comparison to Kaiga, Tiki has much higher level kicks. His kicks are far better executed. So I think leaning on that would probably be his best bet to win this battle.
Or just all the Tiki Woo fans out there just praying that Kaiga messes up.
Kaiga responds with aerial mega, a bit tucked, sideswipe, wrap 12, finishing in a backside 14, bit of a floppy leg, to a shuriken cutter turbo. Overall, solid combo. On paper, really cool combo. There were some bits that just weren't executed particularly well, I think overall his transitions were smooth, takeoffs really smooth, but it's just those kicks and those variations. We're not really seeing the round kick or seeing the hook kick in a way that I'd like to see them. He's looking at the floor in that cheat 9. He's looking at the floor in his backside 14 or double full hyper hook. So the kicks weren't as good as they could have been. I think the Shuriken Cutter Turbo was solid at the end. And compared to Tiki's fall, it's miles ahead. So Kaiga pushing even further into the lead with this combo.
I think it just goes to show the raw power level of Kaiga, that he didn't need to do any of that stuff to be able to beat Tiki. But for him, doing combos like that have wrap 12s in and backside 14s to Shuriken Cutter Turbos executed like that, it's so easy for him that he knows he can land that 100% and it can take him through into the next round with a massive lead over Tiki.
On to the final pass. Tiki will need to do something amazing to even stand a chance here. He's going to have to really pull out all the stops and hit one of his best combos. And he opens with cheat 9 Snapu to cheat 12 hook cart dub. Very solid for the third pass. And after falling, very surprising. I wouldn't have expected him to hit that combo in the third pass.
Tiki showing that he's still got some life. He wasn't satisfied with his fall in the last round, and he really wanted to show that he is still capable of pulling out these crazy hard combos, even when he's fatigued and tired against a monster like Kaiga.
Cheat 14 to backside 9, round off, and then the undertucked full double D-leg.
To the head cartwheel. Can we talk about that backside 9 just for a little bit of a second here? Doing a backside kick out of a hook can be done really, really well, but one thing that Kaiga is known for is when he comes out of these tricks and he's trying to save power, he wants to put the absolute minimum amount of energy into this backside 9. He's just trying to continue the combo, and I think if we're going to be critical about execution, we have to look at a simple trick like a backside 9, which you can learn in maybe a few weeks of tricking, and people will be able to perform it at a similar level to what Kaiga, one of the best in the world, is doing here.
It's one thing to not spot if you're doing a 16 or something like that, as it's all happening so fast. You're just trying to land and keep control and not fall. But in a backside 9, you have a lot of time. From trickers of this level, we really expect them to be looking at their target, chambering their kick, and extending through the target. I really don't know if I'd even count that as a successful trick. It's a failed backside 9. So it really drags down the overall level of the combo.
5 seconds left to vote. And let's run those results. Audience says fool. Judges say fool. Moving on to the next round.
I think had Tiki had landed his second pass, then I think it would have been a really, really tough one to judge. But that was the deciding thing for me. I think that fall and Kaiga hitting the great combo through to quad fall, I think this just has to go to Kaiga.
Yeah, it just goes to show that tricking at this high level, any single mistake that you make could cost you the entire battle. So well performed by both trickers. I think it was really exciting. Some of the most exciting Kaiga combos that I've seen in a while. And I think Tiki really, really showing that he's not just someone who will give up as soon as he starts to fail, that he can really still pull it back and find that extra gear that's hidden in there. But I would completely agree. I think Kaiga's done enough to take him into the next round.
Zen is just like, he will do the hardest thing he can do on demand in the battle.
I think Zen just had that killer instinct for the last few seasons. I think he's the hungriest. I don't know how long he can keep this reign going, but I don't think it's gonna end quite yet.
Every gathering, I go against Zen, at least once. That's the time I lose, so.
I know, I think the mentality of Zen is unbeatable.
I think Zen, because he always wins. He's super consistent and has a wide range of really hard tricks. And he's been winning everything else coming up to this, so he's probably going to take it.
And Zen is already, always killing the battle composition, and his stage performance is always, I think, also really contributing to, on top of his crazy execution and trick selection.
I think Zen is probably going to win. He's going to become the Oslo Movement King.
Do you feel good about the battle?
Yes, that's always like so excited and so hyped every time. But I don't feel like it's like seriously.
you know. I'm always just having fun and just do my thing. Yeah, just like that.
Zen is moving on to the next round.
I think it's going to be really interesting to see Zen go up against James here, because I don't think they've battled that many times, no? Have they?
I think the last time they matched up was at Vertigo Gathering. James put on a really surprising performance. I mean, it shouldn't be too much of a surprise because he is amazing, but he's not known as a battle tricker. He's not known for going out and winning all these tricking competitions, but he is incredibly good. He really worked Zen last time, but Zen was just on fire. He went on to win Vertigo Gathering, and he took the battle relatively easily. But let's see how they do today. Zen hasn't really fully switched on yet. He took it quite easy in his first 2 rounds. And I think this is going to be the first time he has to work for his win.
Double full shuriken, Curtis sideswipe. Shuriken! And the obligatory hand movements.
Pretty good execution overall.
And really doing the kind of tricks that James struggles with, because James is known for being a powerful tricker. He's not really known for his flexibility or his kicks, so I think it was a really smart choice by Zen here. And he looks like he's got loads of energy left for the next combos. And now we move on to James's first combo. James looking absolutely huge on the floor, towering over Zen.
Looking like a caveman.
Let's see what he's got. Oh! Whoa! Ah! Wow! Oh my goodness. Okay.
Showing that this is not just going to be a free win for Zen. Really doubling down on his strengths. No one else is doing standing Arabian 1 and 3 combos, hitting the side flip to both directions. So even though it's very flip based, it's a really interesting use of flips. He's not just tumbling. He is tricking. He's doing freestyle flips and finishing with the Valdez full in as well. Really strong ender. I think I think James might have just taken that round.
I think it was really, really impressive to see, and I think there's a lot of old heads out there that would say, if you're not kicking, you're not tricking. Well, what is that then, mate? All right, what are we looking at? Because that was creative, that was original, that was hard to replicate. I don't see Zen doing anything like that. And the fact that he ended the combo in a Valdez full-in, and it was a very inverted Valdez full-in as well, so there was no questions about it. I think this is a real different side to tricking that is one of the only styles of tricking that Zen really can't compete in. Hopefully this is going to spark some fire within Zen to absolutely destroy the floor in the next pass. Okay, here we go, Zen. Okay, not the best transition. Oh dear. Oh dear, Zen. When it comes to picking power moves to go against James, I really don't think triple full hyperhook is a good way to go, especially if it's not going to be executed to an absolutely amazing level, because Zen's known for doing his compound variations, right? Like shuriken cutter, swipe knife, or full snapu shuriken cutter, and all these kind of things. And to pick one that's just basically a twisting variation with a hook kick on the end, and then combining that with the bad transition into the fall on a backside 12, which nowadays is kind of a pretty mainstream generic trick in a lot of tricking moves, I don't really see how James can lose this one really going into it. As long as he lands all of his tricks and doesn't do anything stupidly low level, then I feel like this is going to be hard for Zen to pull back at this point.
I think Zen would have been much better going off with a lower level in terms of twist combo, but using a lot more variations and kicks, because that's his biggest edge over James. James is a double flip and twist master, but Zen has a lot more variations.
I'm just going for big round off. Oh, okay, so I'm pretty sure, I know I'm old and bald, but I'm pretty sure that move's called a Coca-Cola, is that right?
That is, the kids are calling that a Coca-Cola these days. And fantastic execution on it, a real crowd-pleasing move. And I think it's enough to take this round. If Zen did an amazing triple full hype hook by itself, that could compete with this trick. It is on the same level, but the hook just wasn't great. So I really have to count that as a triple full hyper hook attempt or a triple full hyper. And then to finish with the poor transition into the backside 12 fail, it's a really lackluster ender. So James was really smart with this pass, just doing a really stomped, high-level double flip, using what he's good at. I think James has a really strong lead at this point in the battle. On to the final pass. Can James close this out? All he needs is a fairly solid pass here, as Zen needs to do something amazing to get back into this battle.
But Zen has been in situations like this before, and he is one tricker you can never count out. No matter how many rounds he is down, he can pull it back. Okay, Zen's running. Okay, here we go. Okay. So ignore what Zen's doing with his arms, putting his arms out like he's just conquered a country or something like that. We need to actually analyze not what he was trying to do, what did he actually do? Because that's more important. Okay, so he ran into a massive round. I would call that a round off. You might say it's a cart off, but just because you spin into it, I would still call that a round off. Huge double fall on the way up.
Either double D-leg or kind of off-axis double side out of it. One of the highest level moves in tricking. Huge trick. Huge trick.
Yeah, I think if that, the way that he had his arms raised above his head coming into the second thing, I think he was trying to do a double full, double D-leg, which again is one of the most difficult tricks that's ever been done. Really only been done at the highest level by Shosei, I think. And the fact that Zen was trying this move shows that he really wanted to win. But again, Zen is choosing to do a high level sort of pseudo double flip against maybe one of the best double flippers in the entire game. Zen, what are you doing? You've got way more tricks in your arsenal that you could pull out.
I think he's beating James at his own game here. I think he's doing the hardest double flip in this battle against such a high-level double flipper. From his first pass, he's already showed some big variations with the shuriken and the double full shuriken cutter. And here he's showing a higher-level double flip than anything James has done. I think he's doing what he needs to win this battle.
See, the fact that I've got it paused right now on the end of that first pseudo double flip, and Zen is looking like a little baby orangutan falling from a tree with his arms and legs all bent so he's in happy baby position. For me, that is not aesthetic. That is not a variation that you want to see. It's an attempt. I will give him that it is an attempt. And he does have the confidence and the stage presence when he's landed to make it look like he's done something really impressive. But compare that to the execution of all of James's tricks so far to that single execution. I just don't think that that is going to be enough to be able to take it away from James at this point.
You could not count it as a double full, double D-leg. Fair enough. But it's still, it's just an insane variation. It doesn't have a good name for it yet, really, where you do this kind of pseudo flip out in like a tucked D-leg position, but that doesn't mean it's not a flip.
See, I would say that Zen is, yeah, in my opinion, for this kind of thing, a variation, you have to be able to look at it and see what was the intention behind the variation. Because there are some people where they do a D-leg and their legs are slightly bent. But if your legs are not together and they're bent, and there's no definable shape in the move, like what do we even call it? Is it just like a late flat spin out of the double fall?
A double fall late flat spin is incredibly impressive to me.
No matter if we have a difference of opinion on this, the fact is Zen has done a big power move against one of the big power movers from round off in tricking. So hopefully James can pull something out of the bag here and really show Zen that maybe he needs to rethink what kind of combos he's going to do against the person that he's going up against. James, what are you doing?
Oh, real anticlimactic ender. I think his first combo, he thought, I'm up against Zen, I'm going against a champ. It doesn't really matter. I have nothing to lose. I'll just try my best and do some good tricking. But by the third round, when he had a real chance of winning, I think the pressure was on, and I think that really affected him.
Even though I'm not the biggest fan of Zen's power move, I do think that what James did is no way near the level of what Zen did. So for that round specifically, I would give it to Zen.
He didn't just need to do something huge. He needed James to mess up.
He did, and he got what he wanted, but unfortunately, I think the combination of Zen's second combo and just the constant power level of James, maybe not a completely clear win for James, but I think James does edge it overall.
Well, all four of the judges and the audience all agreed that Zen took the win.
Sorry, say that again? I think I heard you wrong.
All four judges, including me and the audience, voted for Zen.
Everyone voted for Zen in that battle. Wow. Wow.
First pass extremely close because Zen still did a very hard combo to Shuriken, double full Shuriken cutter through to TDR Shuriken. That is an advanced pass. There's not too many people who can do that. James's combo, I think, was better. I think James edged that first round. And then in the second round, I think James took it, but not by a crazy amount. Zen still did a triple full hyper. That's not nothing compared to a round off double back variation. James used no kicks throughout the entire battle. So we're really not seeing that much of a range of skill. Whereas Zen showed his double flips, he showed big twisting, kicking variations. I think Zen just brought a bigger range of tricks to the table. And combined with James's big fall on the last pass, I think Zen took the victory there.
Wow, okay. Well, see, this is why you have different judging panels to look it over, because in that round, I think maybe I have the benefit of hindsight in the fact that I can slow down the variations to try and see how they are executed. And speaking for me personally, I would love to see lower level moves executed at a higher standard than seeing someone attempt a high level variation, but ultimately perform something that is not very aesthetic. And it doesn't matter how much you cheer and put your arms out. What you actually do is more important than what you intend to do.
This might be the hardest trick ever attempted in a tricking battle. I think that was a huge part in it, even if the execution wasn't great. In the moment, I did notice how it wasn't really much of a D-leg out. I saw it as more of like a pseudo double side flip coming out of the double fall, but that is still a massive flip to me. And that's what took it in the end for me.
Zen is the hardest to beat.
I think Zen is the first place, and then Kai is behind Zen.
I don't know. I feel like I have been enjoying watching Kaiga's composition get, more interesting and more intricate as well, because his power is already off the charts. Will the style win again, and will we see like a really, really just crazy composition with some Zen combos that will, take the edge, or will some like really insane power combos that Kaiga has been cooking up? Dude, I don't know, man. Dude, it's so anyone's game, dude. It was so close last time at hooks too. It's like, dude, I don't even know.
Versus Zen Kajiura!
Every battle between these two is extremely close.
Think back to the Hooked final of 2024, where we had this insanely high-level battle that was pulled down right to the final pass, where Zen was able to take the win over Kaiga in a controversial 3-round battle.
Yeah, and I think as a judge in that battle, it was extremely hard because Zen was quite messy in that battle, but Kaiga had some really big stumbles. He had a quad cork where his head was touching the ground afterwards, a triple full D-leg twist attempt with no D-leg and not the full twist, backside nines at hip height. It was really those things that lost Kaiga the battle there. So he's going to have to improve in those areas if he wants to take down Zen.
And who could forget that what happened this year at Temple Gathering, where we had that final that kicked it off with Zen basically knocking Kaiga out in the first pass with a full-in swing-through combo. Never been seen before at that point. Absolutely destroyed the entire battle. So hopefully we can see something just as crazy today. Here we go. Final of OFMG. Kaiga's first combo is... Cheat 16, Vanish 9, hook. Touchdown raise, snatch cannon, and he is hype about that. Yo, okay, so
it's a pretty legit snatch cannon as well. There's an actual flip in there. He's not going round the side, though it's slightly off axis. It's a very real back out. I think the cheat 16 had quite a good kick in it, even though he did his classic spotting the floor instead of his target. I think he did extend his kick, which is pretty impressive for a cheat 16.
If we're going to criticize him for his low-level execution on his kicks, we also have to commend him for his high-level execution of the snatch cannon. Like, he was flying up in the air. He wasn't just squeezing it around the side. He wasn't doing a bad shape. He was doing a legitimate snatch cannon, the way that people always talked about it, a full-in back out off one leg.
When you're competing against the champ, you need combos like that, and I think he delivered. He's done something where Zen's going to have to really push. He's going to have to do something crazy to beat that pass.
Yeah, completely. It's a very, very risky thing for Kaiga to do, opening up with a corking back out combo, especially after seeing what happened to Fuju when he tried a similar thing earlier on. But hey, it worked out for him. Zen is really going to have to work hard to get an edge over Kaiga at this point.
And Zen with a spin step to round off, double full in, back out, pop flash, backside 9 hook, round off, shuriken, to Snapu attempt.
Oh, wow.
Insane combo. No one has ever comboed out of a double full in a battle. And it was a real pop flash.
See, when I'm talking about Zen doing that double full in pseudo double flip variation earlier, talking about the execution, this is what I'm talking about. Great execution, okay? Great inversion on the double full in, okay? And really going that extra mile to one-up Kaiga, who was really excited about doing his corking back out at the end of a combo. And Zen's like, okay, I see you doing your single twisting back out. I'm going to one-up you and do double twisting back out.
A lot of people might not quite understand the difficulty here. The double full in back out is extremely advanced. But what makes this so special is the pop flash out of it, because that shows that he didn't just do the move, he did it and was able to anticipate his landing and smoothly combo from it. We've never seen anyone combo from a double full in back out in a battle. This is probably the hardest trick anyone has smoothly comboed out of. So insane pass from Zen. He needed something crazy and he provided something crazy.
But is there a possible chance that Zen has blown his load a little bit too early, pulling out a huge power move which could cause him to fail tricks later on in the battle?
Potentially, we could have a blown load situation here.
Okay, Kaiga looking nervous here. Let's see something new. Come on, Kaiga, you can do this. Terrible cheat 9. Quad cork to a stumble.
One terrible backside 9, and he finishes with the quad full.
Okay, fair enough. That quad full at the end was pretty impressive.
Fully rotated quad full at the end. The quad cork was short enough for me to consider it a heavily under-rotated quad cork. It's not getting the same credit that a true quad cork would get. Still a powerful pass nonetheless. I think the filler before and after was really not it. Overall, not a very nice combo, but it was a very hard combo.
Yeah, doing that quad full at the end really saved it because that was executed amazingly. But just for a second, if we're comparing apples to apples, go back to Zen doing his double full in pop flash backside 9 to Kaiga doing his quad cork pop flash backside 9, and just compare them side to side, and you can just see that there's levels to this even in the most basic tricks, and you have to take that into account when you're judging tricking battles.
Yeah, it really affects the overall performance and how the battle's going to be received by the judges. And then cheat 12 to cheat 9, hook, round off, full shuriken swipe knife. Or was that a McDirty swipe knife? He's attempting 4 kicks.
The old saying goes, Kojo, that if you have to ask, then you know that it wasn't there. I think you're being very kind on the second kick and the shuriken. I would say definitely the shuriken and definitely the swipe knife. And just to be fair to Kaiga as well, if we're going to be critical on Kaiga's backside 9, Zen doing his hook kick in the middle of this was basically just a spin step into his round off. So my thoughts on that pass in general is that Kaiga had the worst execution because he had the bad transition out of the quad cork into the backside 9. It was a lot higher level because he did go into a quad and out of a quad and then finish with a very, very strong quad. Zen's kicks at the beginning doing cheat 12, cheat 9. I don't know why you would choose to do something that Kaige does in almost every single combo that he does.
I think it was a strange choice from Zen. I think the finisher was a solid decision, but I'm not quite sure why he would go for the cheat 12, the cheat 9 as an opener. I think it would have been a smarter choice to do something a bit more unique and creative at the start of his combo and then have that big finisher.
Do you think we're maybe seeing some of the effects of Zen going so hard in the last round that maybe he's a bit gassed and he's falling into doing things that are a little bit more low level but that he knows he can land?
Potentially. I think at this point, Kaiga has really tied it up and they're pretty much neck and neck.
Spinning into a round off, triple full hyper, front swing raise, 12-9 snapu, recovery aerial, aerial envigado, backside 12, vanish 9, hook, triple cork. Wow, long combo.
I think he did show some different skills there, which is what he needed. He showed the triple full semi front swing raise. We haven't seen any triple full semis to anything throughout this entire tournament. Very high level opener from Kaiga. Now, a bit of a recovery into that aerial. Don't really like to see recovery aerial to aerial semi, but the start of the pass was already so hard. So anything else at this point is a bonus.
Yeah, lots and lots of high-level elements all put together. I think maybe where you could mark him down on this is saying that doing a recovery aerial to an aerial semi, 2 aerials in a row, you're basically doing 2 combos like we talked about Tiki earlier, and I'm not a fan of people doing 2 combos when you're really only supposed to be doing 1. It shows that you're kind of just winging it and just hoping that you're getting through the combos, but fair play to him. He had really good flow throughout this combo, and he did land his triple cork amazingly as he always does. Zen, I think he's going to have to pull out something weird and non-generic and execute it really well to be able to take the lead over Kaiga.
At this point, he really needs something that's super high level, but also a bit different. He's already used a lot of his classics. He's already used a lot of his big go-to moves, the full shuriken to snapu or raise twist. He showed a lot of his hand. So what does he have left for this final round? Okay, Zen with the big spin step. And full in, swing, very awkward in the swing, tries to do gainer semi, manages to recover to another full in. Now, I'm not sure if he was trying to go for a dub 10 here, as he does pull completely around the side, but he manages to land it. He manages to pull off the combo, but is it enough? Full in swing is incredibly high level. So he really brought the level there, but he didn't quite catch that swing as he would have wanted.
He lands on one leg, very, very impressive, and then really just steps over into a more of just a very bad hook kick. Somehow manages to do what people will call a front swing raise, but I'm saying I wouldn't call that a raise in my wildest dreams. It's almost just a reverse of the step over. It's like a step over behind into what I would call a tornado kick because he over-cheats his cheat 9 massively. And this is what we call filler. When we talk about filler in combos, this is Zen clearly not getting the full in swing that he wanted and now just trying to do the least effort way to get back onto some sort of direction of motion so that he can finish with some kind of hard combo element.
Yeah, I think it's really impressive that Zen was able to just get through that on his 3rd pass of the final battle out of everything he's already done. But I just don't think it was enough. I think Kaiga's opener, the triple full semi, raise, cheat 12, cheat 9 snapu, I think that alone does beat Zen's combo. That was hard trick after hard trick, using different transitions between it versus one big thing, filler, to another decently big thing. And then you add on Kaiga's finisher with the second half of his combo through to the triple cork. And I think that was the icing on the cake. And I think overall, as these battles are judged as a complete piece rather than round by round, I think Kaiga just about takes it.
Judges are good. Audience, have you voted? 10 seconds left. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's see the results. And the judges voted for OMFG 2025.
And all 4 judges vote for Kaige in this battle, and the audience vote goes to Zen.
I think it's an interesting result. I think there's a reason why you pick certain judges rather than just having any tricker, because maybe there was a lot of people at this event who haven't been tricking for very long, or they haven't watched tricking for a long time, and they aren't able to see the difficulties and maybe remember what people have done in previous rounds and judge them based on that. The audience, you know, Zen likes to put on a show, maybe that kind of factored into it a little bit. Maybe there's a lot of people who are Zen fans out there who really wanted to see him win. But the audience only counts for one. It's the judges' votes that really matter, and I think the judges made the right call on the day.
That it makes sense why the audience could vote for Zen, as he did throw down, he did awesome tricks as well. So it wasn't like the audience just voted for Zen out of popularity. I think he did do really well, but most audience members aren't taking into account every single aspect of every single combo across the entire battle. They're not thinking about it in as much depth as the judges are, as it's the judges' job to pay attention to every single detail. So I wasn't too surprised being on the judging panel myself. I thought before the decisions were given, I expected all 4 judges to vote for Kaige in this battle.
Yeah, absolutely. Just doing your amazing double full-in pop flash combo, which was amazing. I don't think that that has really done enough to make sure that the judges are going to vote for you over the entire battle.
I think Zen would have taken it had he hit the same combo as Temple in his 3rd pass.
Difficult to say. If it was executed the exact same way, I think the crowd reaction would have been insane. Given what Kaige's 3rd combo was, I think it would have been enough to be able to take Zen through to winning the round.
It might have been enough, but I think the struggle in that full-in for Zen is what killed it for me. It needed to be easier. It needed to be a fluid swing out of the full-in.
Yeah, and it just, like we've said, when you're at that very top level, the level of Zen and the level of Kaige, everything has to be on point, because if you fall in one single area, that can be enough to cost you the whole competition.